Hey everybody, welcome back for the January 16th through 22nd Memory Can Be Plan with me. So of course this was the week right after our wedding and we were able to go on our honeymoon right away. Really it was the only time we would have for a honeymoon, so I'm glad we just went right away. So we went to Hawaii. So I used this kit from Cinderella paper called Beach Babe. This is an old format. I wish she would bring this format back. She was very short-lived in the shop for some reason. But I love the art because I felt like it would go really nicely with the Wonton in a Million Hawaii stickers from an old travel book that they sold at Michael's a few years ago. I'm also pulling in some foil from Plannahannah, the Honolulu sheet in Heart Hollow. That's hard to say. And then I've got other little bits and bobs of foil from her that I ended up using. I also had some Alicia Craft foil, but I didn't end up using that. There's all my character stickers, and then I get to use my Nicole Plans National Park list because we got to go to a national park while we were in Hawaii, which was awesome. So yeah, gonna go ahead and put down the base. I did include the full box from the Wonton in a Million Hawaii sheet. I don't think they sell that particular sticker book anymore, but I feel like maybe, oh, there's my cat. Forgot that she crashed the plan with me. What was I saying? Cats are so distracting, but I love it. Anyway, I think the Hawaii stickers should still be for sale on their website. I just don't know if that full box is available anywhere. Then I'm going to go ahead and put in some washi and a half box to mark that it was our honeymoon. So I'll put in the Once More with Love honeymoon sticker from the wedding sheet because of course it was our honeymoon. And then I'm going to put in a dinners sidebar, and then I'll put in another half box. I didn't do any habit trackers this week because I was on vacation. I was not keeping up with stuff. That's fine. This was all about relaxing. But I'll put in a Wonton in a Million sticker that came from one of their everyday sticker books that used to be sold at Michael's. And it's just the wonton or the whatever the character is supposed to be looking at the sun and the sun saying, "I'm out." And the character saying, "Oh my God, I missed you." And that's how I felt. I don't normally miss sunshine because I get so much of it in California. But it has been so stormy this winter, and we got so wet and cold over the course of our wedding weekend that going to Hawaii was really nice for getting some sun that I didn't know I was missing. Also, we barely went out the 2 weeks before our wedding because we didn't want to get sick and potentially not be able to go to our wedding. So I just did not spend a lot of time outside. So spent most of this week outside in Hawaii. It was really nice. It was 80 and of course warm, and that was great. I didn't know I needed that in the middle of January because it's warm-ish here in California in the winter, but it's not go to the pool warm. It's still the continental US. We still get winter, and we definitely got winter this year. So I'm just putting my Plannahannah overlays on the full boxes. I decided to do this before I put the full boxes down because I wanted the overlays to go on specific days. On Thursday, we went to Haleakala National Park, so I wanted to make sure I used the volcano overlay on that day. And then I also wanted to make sure that I put the Honolulu box on Monday because we spent 2 days in Honolulu and then we flew over to Maui for the rest of the week. So we had a relatively short honeymoon. I feel like people act like your honeymoon has to be 2 weeks long and you have to travel internationally. We didn't have that kind of time based on our wedding date. So we wanted to plan our wedding long enough after Christmas that it wasn't super stressful, but then also it needed to be early enough in January that we weren't just going, or I wasn't going straight back to work right after. Because I work in education, I'm kind of beholden to the system that they set up, whether I like it or not. So I was going back to work on the 23rd. So this was just perfect timing, right? We've traveled internationally before, so it didn't matter so much to us that we go internationally for our honeymoon, and we will definitely travel internationally after this point as well. So I had never been to Hawaii. My husband went a few times when he was a kid, but I had never been. Excuse me. And so it just made sense to go. It's only a 6-hour flight for us. So that was nice. And obviously it was a direct flight because, I mean, what's between? Although I will say sometimes flights leave from one part of California, they go to another part of California, and then they go to Hawaii. So like if you're flying from LA, sometimes the flight will go from LA to San Francisco and then it will go to Hawaii and vice versa. I don't know why. I guess they just need to get more people on the plane. Anyway, we got a direct flight from LAX, which is the worst airport on the face of the planet. Like, I hate it so much. But they had started doing flights out of Long Beach Airport, which I love. But I feel like they did that right before the pandemic. And then after the pandemic, Long Beach Airport, I feel like, has cut back on a lot of its flights. So it was just really expensive to fly out of Long Beach. So that's why I put up with LAX, is that it's cheaper to get flights out of there. Also, if you're going internationally, like, you have to go there. But it is definitely like the worst airport on the planet. I can't stand it. I've just been rambling. I'm sorry. I ran out of extenders from Scribble Prints Co. So I actually just used a piece of tape on Thursday. And that works just fine as an extender. Like, is it as sturdy? Probably not. Like, long term, it might rip off. I don't know. But for now, it's fine. So yeah, I did an extender on Monday and on Thursday, especially because at the top of Monday, I wanted to cover up just being really grouchy at LAX. So I will move that extender that you see currently on Monday because I realized, wait a second, I want to put it at the top of the day to cover up all the less fun stuff, because then I wanted all of the fun stuff once we got to Honolulu, to Waikiki, to show for sure. But yeah, we had a really great time. My husband did get sick while we were in Maui, unfortunately. I think we brought COVID tests with us, and he was testing negative. And spoiler alert, since this week, a lot has happened. Not a lot of great stuff. We'll get into it in the next few weeks. It all really culminated. Actually, no, it still hasn't culminated. More bad stuff happened after that. The first week of March, though, we did get COVID, finally. I guess our guard was just down at that point, and yeah. So we were really lucky that we didn't get COVID before our wedding, or at our wedding, or during our honeymoon. But it finally caught up with us. So that's why, like, I haven't been uploading super consistently on this channel. I was behind anyway, don't get me wrong, because like taking a week and a half off for our wedding and then trying to get back into real life. And like February, everyone wanted to have like a board game night with us, which was great, but that also meant we were out of the house a lot more. Plus it was my husband's birthday and Valentine's Day and all this stuff going on. And then we got COVID and I got even more behind. So I'm just catching up. That's also why I still have a lingering cough. It's been really rainy here in March as well. And then now it's getting super dry. So that means that like I feel like my lingering COVID symptom, which is really just the postnasal drip, that's it. I'm really lucky in that regard. But it like acts up when it's dry out. So sorry if I'm sniffling and coughing a lot. Yeah, so I feel like I started a sentence and I did not finish it correctly. But basically, we went to Hawaii for 6 days because we had a week in between our wedding and me needing to go back to work for sure. And it just made sense. And I hadn't been there. And I was like, you know what? I never really do vacations where I'm like flouncing around in a bikini in the warmth. Like that's not my ideal vacation. I like going places for like museums and food and stuff like that, and just like taking in architecture and things like that. But for our honeymoon, I was like, you know what, maybe I need to chill a little bit. And it was good. We did a good mix of exploring but also just relaxing. And oh my god, the food. I don't know why I never realized that like Hawaii has such good food. Like I always knew it in my heart, but I think this is the best we've ever eaten on a vacation. Hawaiians know food. They're good at it. Like everything we ate, even the stuff that wasn't necessarily what you would go to Hawaii for, was just so good. I'm just going to keep raving about it. Anyway, you'll hear more details about the food later, but like if you like fish especially, oh my god, so many good options. Like everything we ate was amazing. Even so we ate like one expensive dinner, and then there were a lot of like lower price point stuff too. Like everything at every price point was great. Anyway, I'm getting behind already. I'm going to go ahead and get into the day by day. So at the top of the day on Monday, of course, I marked that it was Martin Luther King Jr. Day. That was also a reason it was good to go this week because my husband works in city planning. And so he had Monday off because it was a holiday. And then he gets every other Friday off. So I think he had this Friday off as well. So he doesn't have any PTO just yet because he hasn't been at his job for a year yet. He'll get PTO, I think, in May. So anytime he took off for our wedding had to be unpaid, unfortunately. Technically mine was too, but that's because I was on winter break. So this was a good week because he only had to take 3 unpaid days. So yeah, I marked that it was MLK Jr. Day, and then I marked that LAX sucks. It was pouring rain this day because that storm that started on our wedding day was still going, and LAX is just the worst. Like, you can't figure out. What I compare it to is basically when you enter LAX, you get on a conveyor belt. Not literally, but run with this with me. And basically, once you enter, you can't leave until you've driven through every single terminal. And the parking garage that we were supposed to park at, you couldn't get good directions to it. And then we had to, like, the terminal that Hawaiian Airlines is flying out of right now is like under construction. All of LAX is under construction, by the way. So if you're coming this way, if you're coming to LAX, just know it's actually worse than usual right now because it's been under construction since like 2019, I want to say. It's supposed to be done soon-ish. I'll believe it when I see it. So yeah, if you have to fly to LA for some reason, just anticipate that. It's not going to be fun. Sorry. I don't know why I'm apologizing. It's not my job. Anyway, so we were trying to find our way to the terminal, and we were walking around in the pouring rain with our luggage, and it was terrible. So I used a wonton and a million grumpy alarm clock because we were doing this at like 5 o'clock in the morning. It was dark. It sucked. Moving on, we got on the plane. We flew Hawaiian Airlines. Totally would recommend it. There are other airlines that fly to Hawaii, but like the Hawaiian Airlines experience was so nice. It was so like chill. It was great. Recommend it. So I used not wonton and a million, Once More with Love couple on the airplane. I've been saving that from a freebie for a long time because I'm like, this would be really cute for a honeymoon. So yeah, we left here at 7 a.m. Pacific time, and then we landed in Honolulu at like 11 a.m. Hawaiian time. So 6-hour flight, but then of course there's the 2-hour time difference. While I was on the flight, I started watching the movie Cyrano. So I marked that with a Planahana movie reel. I didn't finish the movie, even on the flight home. I liked it. I didn't expect all the singing. That was weird. Whenever a movie's like a surprise musical and I didn't realize it was supposed to be a musical, I'm really thrown off. That's like when I went to see Les Mis in theaters. I had no idea it was going to be a musical movie, even though it's based off a musical, so I should have known, but I had no idea. And then everyone was singing the whole time, and I was very confused. They're not singing the whole time in Cyrano, but there's just like random singing. And I don't know how I feel about that. But it looked like a cute movie. I just didn't end up finishing it. I ran out of time on this flight. And then we landed in Honolulu, and excuse me, we got an Uber over to Waikiki because that's where we were going to be staying. And the first thing we did, so we dropped off our bags at the hotel because they were very nice. They were so nice at our hotel. It was great. But we dropped off our bags with them because we couldn't check in just yet. And I was like, you know what I want? I want a poke bowl because it was warm out when we got there, and I'm like, you know what I really want? I want raw fish because I had a pretty not great appetite the last few days because of just all the wedding stress. So at this point I was feeling hungry again, which was really nice. So we went to a place called Sato Seafood. It was just like a counter hole in the wall place. So good. So I have the wonton and a million poke bowl script and the icon to go with it. Yeah, it hit so great. Like just that raw fish with the seasoning and some rice, and it wasn't even expensive. Like maybe that's just me coming from California, but like nothing we ate was overpriced, I thought, even in Waikiki, which is like the tourist trap area, right? I liked Waikiki, actually. It wasn't too crowded. I don't know if it's because of the week that we went. So like at this point, most people would be back in school or back to work, but it was busy. I like cities, but it wasn't like too busy, if that makes sense. Then we went and got some coffee in like the little shopping area. So I marked that with a boba sticker, not because I got boba. Do they even make coffee boba? I don't know. But because I don't really have iced coffee stickers, and this was purple, so it matched the spread. And then I used a little luggage sticker from Scribble Prints Co. to mark that we checked into our hotel. We stayed at the White Sands Hotel, which was a little bit of a, I would say like mid-price option in Waikiki. It had a really cute pool and bar area that you can just go to even if you're not staying there. So, and I did like all the decorations. It was definitely one of those places that's kind of like painted over. Like there's some like old stuff that they just kind of slap some paint on. So that part's not so great, but we were only staying there 2 days anyway. So, and even for our honeymoon, we were just traveling not on a very strict budget, but on like a, okay, what do we really want to spend money on? Do we want to like go all out for this trip? Or do we want to have money later to go on other trips, you know? Because this is not like the be all end all vacation for us. That wasn't the point of our honeymoon for us, because we have no intention of settling down anytime soon. So we're still going to need money a little bit later from now to do other things. Then we went down to the bar and had some drinks. The bar is called Heyday. So I have a Wonton and a Million sticker for that. It was a really cute bar because they have these little swings that you sit on when you sit at the bar. So we were just swinging and having our drinks and getting a little buzzed. And we're like, we're on our honeymoon. This is funny. There's a guy sitting next to us who was like, let me guess, you're on your honeymoon. Like he was being nice. He wasn't like being mean, but we're like, yeah, I know, right? Like Hawaii for a honeymoon. So original. And then, like I said, there was a pool, so we chilled by the pool. We got off of our swings a little buzzed and went and chilled by the pool. So I have a little bathing suit sticker from Scribble Prints Co. And then we went back to our hotel room, cleaned up, and we actually went and got Texas barbecue for dinner because there was a place down the street. And this is what I mean, like it was like a quote unquote Texas barbecue restaurant. And so even that was really good. There was also trivia night going on at the restaurant while we were there, which was pretty funny. I kept answering all the questions, even though they kept like being like, people should join, play to win. And I was just answering the questions without actually being part of the competition. And then we went back to the hotel and I put in a Molly reading the newspaper and a TV time script from Planet Hannah because I was watching the news. Nathan was really sleepy this day. That should have been my first clue that he was going to get sick. I can't remember if I said this earlier. He didn't have COVID. He got some sort of bad cold. But yeah, I was just watching the news and learned all sorts of things about like what's on the news when you're in Hawaii. One of the top stories of the hour hit a little too close to home because they were like, the storms in California. I'm like, yeah, what about them? I was kind of grumpy at this point. I'm like, yeah, it's raining a lot back there. It's kind of a disaster. But then, of course, they were covering their angle of it, which was that they import a lot of stuff from California. So they were like, Valentine's Day might be affected because we get our flowers from there, from California. I'm like, huh. I learned some things. I also learned that when there's box jellyfish in the ocean at the beach, they put it on the weather forecast. Like they have a little overlay. They're like box jellies on Wednesday, along with partly cloudy skies. I'm like, okie doke, interesting. So I learned some things that night by watching the news. I like to watch the news when I'm traveling, if there's a television, especially if I'm international, because I'm like, what's going on? What's up? How do the people talk? Watching the news in London was hilarious. Anyway, moving on to Tuesday, we went and got coffee in the morning. So I have a coffee cup from Scribble Prints Co. And then we also got like some scones or something at that same place. So we went and walked down to the beach. I think it was called Harikia Beach. And so we just sat and ate our breakfast. And then we went hiking. So we went over to Leahi. I just butchered that pronunciation. I'm sorry. But more commonly known as the Diamond Head Crater. And we hiked all of that and it was awesome. So I have Wonton and a Million stickers for both of those things. I felt really good about myself because I was able to like hike up all these really steep things and stairs. There's a lot of stairs. And I was doing great. And I don't think I'm in that great of shape, but I'm going to be honest, I was in a lot better shape than a lot of people there because it's a pretty easily accessible trail. So I feel like people don't realize that they're going to have to do some strong exercise that day. So anyway, it made me feel good about myself. I know that sounds kind of rude, but after our wedding and all of the stress of that and like feeling kind of anxious and sick the whole time, like it felt good to just hike. Like that was when I felt the most alive during my honeymoon. I was like, I can hike a thing. Then we were sweating profusely, obviously. And so we went back to the hotel and we got in the pool and we got some iced coffees, and it was just really nice to relax. And then my husband surprised me. He said, we have a surprise on Tuesday night, so don't book anything. I'm like, okay. And it turned out he had booked like a sunset cruise. So we got on the boat and we went around the bay, which was really nice. Kind of see Diamond Head from the opposite angle looking up at it. We also saw a whale. So there was a whale like breaching around that area at that time. So we ended up canceling the whale watching tour we had for Friday because I'm going to be honest, I do get a little seasick on boats. So I was like, I don't know if I want to do 2 boat rides in a week. So we just did the one on Tuesday. And then for dinner, we went to a place called Merriman's, which is a little bit more expensive, but it was totally worth it. Like, we got the best oysters I think I've ever had. They were so fresh and amazing. I had a macadamia crusted mahi mahi with a bunch of different vegetables and garlic rice. It was so good. So good. And Nathan let them know when he booked the reservation that we were there on our honeymoon. So they gave us some complimentary like Prosecco or something like that. And then they also brought out a little dessert with like ice cream and I think it was like a stroopwafel to share with congratulations written in Hawaiian. So that was really nice. It's so worth it. So sometimes in California, I feel like if you go to an expensive restaurant, it might be really good, or it might be not that great and you just paid a lot of money for something that wasn't that great. But this was Merriman's in Honolulu. That was a great meal for the price. A little more expensive, but that was like our one splurge for the week. Wednesday, we left Honolulu and we went over to Maui. So we caught like a less than an hour flight in the morning. So I have a Wonton and a Million sticker for that. And then we picked up a rental car. So in Honolulu, we either walked around or we called an Uber when we really needed to go somewhere farther, like the airport. On Maui, we rented a car. So I marked that with a Wonton and Millions car sticker that we picked up, our Enterprise car. We went over to Target. I think we needed more sunscreen and a beach towel, maybe? I think Nathan needed a beach towel. So I used a cart icon from Planet Hannah. And then we went to this restaurant called Da Kitchen, which apparently Guy Fieri has visited and given his stamp of approval. But more importantly, I give it my stamp of approval, okay? My opinion matters more than Guy Fieri's, obviously. We're both from Northern California. Guy Fieri's a great guy. I think he does a lot of great things. We're both from NorCal, though, so, like, we're going to fight for this title that I just made up in my head. Anyway, so I used the Spam Musubi sticker from Wonton and a Million because I finally got to try Spam Musubi. That was one of my goals. 2 of my goals. Get poke, even though I've had poke before because it's sold, like, all over the place here. But I wanted poke in Hawaii. So I did that. I also got Spam Musubi. Also at this restaurant, I got the Kalua pork, which was amazing. This was not an expensive place. This was just like one of those restaurants that's like next door to the grocery store. Very unassuming, but such good food. It was really good. And then we couldn't check into our condo just yet, so we went to the beach. So we went to Kalepolepo Beach Park. Apparently, if you're there at the right time, you can see sea turtles come in. Like, that's where they beach. So there's like a marine animal study center right there. So we did not see the turtles, but I imagined they were there, and we were just like enjoying the sunshine. And then we finally got to check into our condo in Kihei. So I have another Wonton and a Million sticker for that. And then we tried to go to dinner at this one place that had like a nice, like cozy aesthetic nearby, but it was going to be like a ridiculous wait. And honestly, don't take this the wrong way, but if I see a lot of like white American tourists at a place, I might think that maybe the food's not that great and they're mostly there just for how it looks. So anyway, we saw a bunch of other restaurants right nearby that were, again, less, very unassuming, but probably had better food. I'm going to be honest. So we went to a Thai restaurant and got some food there. That place was called Nucharis. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. I don't know the Thai language. I'm sorry. But anyway, I used some chopsticks from Planet Hannah to mark that. They seated us right away and were extremely nice to us. So I think that was better than waiting an hour to sit down at the quote unquote like island grotto place that I don't even know what type of food they had. Very like Americanized food. Nothing wrong with American food. I do love it from time to time. Actually, a lot of the time. But if I have to wait an hour for it, it's not really worth it. On Thursday, I marked that it was my parents' anniversary. Yes, they did also get married in January. So I used some ring stickers from Cinderella paper for that. We made coffee in our condo because we had a coffee maker at that point. So we had coffee on the lanai. So we sat out there and sipped our coffee, which was really nice. And then we drove all the way out to Haleakala National Park. So I got to use my Nicole Plans National Parks list finally. Then I'm marking a lot of different places within the national park because I think it is important to remember that like the whole area, maybe nowadays we call it Haleakala, but that specifically refers to the crater and the peak and all of that. And so for Hawaiian people, there's like lots of different significant locations that have their own names. So I wanted to write those down because I think that's important to remember that like the American government sees it as like one place, but like that's not how people who originally are from there see it. So anyway, I marked the Levi Overlook with the I keep saying Wonton in a million when I mean Once More with Love, with a Once More with Love couple because we took some cute pictures there. And then we went around to like look at the crater and the summit and the sliding sands trail as well. And it was really cool. It looked like Mars. It was awesome. So I have a couple of Once More with Love hiking munchkins, and then I have a volcano sticker from Wonton in a Million. Haleakala is a shield volcano, so it doesn't look like exactly like that, but I don't know the next time I'm gonna go see a volcano, so I might as well just use my sticker now, right? And then we looked at over the crater. We walked on the sliding sands trail to like get down in the sand and into the actual crater, we got some great photos. I do have some photos on my wedding highlight on Instagram of our honeymoon if you want to check that out. And then we also stopped by the Kalahaku Overlook on our way out of the park, and I used a Molly from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. with the clouds because at that point, so the weather shifts like really quickly in there. It'll be sunny 1 minute and then like super cloudy the next minute. So we didn't get a good look at that overlook just because it was cloudy at that point. Anyway, we drove back to Kihei because we were staying on the opposite side of the island. We went to Safeway for groceries because I think it's funny that it's called Safeway on Hawaii because that's in Southern California, it's Vons. And in Northern California, where I'm from, it's Safeway. So I think it's funny that Hawaii has more in common with NorCal than SoCal. And then Nathan cooked this night because we were kind of tired at this point of eating out, especially because we had technically eaten out for like our whole wedding weekend. So he cooked some salmon like with pineapple and brown sugar. It turned out really good. And then I bought a bottle of white wine. I think I bought some Pinot Grigio, and I drank a lot of it. I got real tipsy. So I went to bed early that night. I hadn't really drunk a lot. I drank at our wedding, but not that much. And I hadn't really drank much since then other than getting like the drinks on Monday and Tuesday. So I was like just drinking my grocery store wine at this point. Friday, we got our sneak peeks from our wedding photographer, which was really fun. So I used a Papershire couple for that. So we got like 50 photos. I think it was like 50. She sent us a lot of sneak peeks. So that was fun to look at those. And then we had coffee on the lanai again. So I used a little Gallifrey sticker from Oh Hello Co. because it matched with the purple cup with the spread. But also because recently Kayla from Oh Hello Co. said that Gallifrey passed away. So I wanted to remember him, and I still have those stickers there. So anyway, used that to mark coffee with my husband on the lanai. And then this was the day we tried to go to the other part of Haleakala National Park. So the part we visited on Thursday was the volcanic area, and we wanted to go to the waterfall area this day. And we took the Kula Highway to drive out there. It was a beautiful scenic drive along the coast. But then what happened is that I guess a power line fell down. And we found out from people who were driving back the other way, there's only one way to get there. It's pretty rural on that part of the island. And they were like, hey, the road is closed and they have no idea when they're going to open it up. So you probably want to turn around. So at that point, we'd already been driving for 2 hours. So that kind of, not 2 hours, maybe like an hour. So that pretty much sucked. Nathan was pretty grumpy. He was already starting to feel pretty sick this day. But he did find a beach for us to go out to. So we went out to a beach in Paya, I think, and it was a beautiful beach. There were like these boulders everywhere that were like black, and the waves were enormous. It was gorgeous. But Nathan was feeling really sick this evening, so I marked that with a Beniva Creations dinosaur who doesn't look like he's doing too hot. We did manage to go out to dinner this night at a place in Kihei called Isana, which again, really reasonably priced, and we got cocktails. I think I got something like akin to a pina colada because that was my other thing. I wanted to get a pineapple drink while I was in Hawaii. And then we also got sushi. We did this chef's choice nigiri. I don't know why that was so hard to say. So they just picked what they wanted to serve us, and it was like really great sushi. The fresh was amazing. The fish was amazing, and it didn't cost much more. It cost like the same that we pay here for like okay sushi. So anyway, I have a sticker party sushi flat lay and a little Carly Plans drink sticker to mark that. Saturday, we had to go home. Sadness. We went to Kraken Coffee in the morning, which is a little like coffee cart. Their generator broke right as we got in line. So they were like, we can only do iced coffee. Is that okay with you? Or cold brew? And we're like, yeah, that's fine. So we got Kraken Coffee. It was really good. And then we sat out on the lanai. So I marked that with a palm tree from Wonton in a Million to drink that coffee. And then we had to check out. Sadness. So I have a little suitcase from Wonton in a Million, and we dropped off the rental car, and we went to the airport. They have a cute trolley or like tram that takes you from the parking area to the terminal at the Maui airport or at the Kahului airport. So cute. Love it. Then we went to a restaurant called Stinger Ray's in the airport because it was about lunchtime when we were supposed to leave. So I got like a veggie burger or something. And while we were waiting for our flight, I responded to all of the lovely Instagram comments that I got on the wedding post that I made on my personal account, I think. And I think I said something on my planner account. I don't remember. I think I was mostly focused on just responding to Instagram and Facebook comments on my personal accounts. So anyway, I have an Instagram sticker from Papershire. And then we took our flight home. So we left around like 2 Hawaii time and got home around 9 p.m. Pacific time, so we lost a couple hours. Anyway, that plane sticker is from Scribble Prints Co. And then while we were on the plane, I watched a lot of The Office and Parks and Recreation. I think they had like season 2 of The Office and season 4 of Parks and Recreation on the plane, so that's what I was watching. So I have a little oh hello sticker that's really old from The Office. And then we were reunited with our kitty cat. So that sticker is from Once More with Love. She was pretty upset with us. She was not very destructive at all. Like she's a good little cat, but she took one of my slippers that I bought for the wedding. They're these white slippers that are really fuzzy. She's been treating them like they're toys. They're not, but she thinks they are. And I found them like scattered throughout the house in places that I did not leave them. And then she also ripped apart the dead catnip plant that is on our kitchen table. I need to throw it out. It's been dead for a while. It just reached the end of its natural lifespan, but she decided to tear apart the dead parts of it. So those were the only 2 things she really messed with. So she's pretty good. Like I said in the last video, our neighbor watches her while we're gone. So she gets individual attention, but we're her favorite people. On Sunday, I marked that it was Lunar New Year with a Once More with Love munchkin from the holiday sheet, and then I think we stayed in bed till like noon, just catching up on sleep. So I have a Molly from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. and a Snuggles script from Planahannah. Unfortunately, the night before, there was a terrible, awful tragedy in Monterey Park, which is a little bit north of us, like half an hour north of us. Related to a Lunar New Year celebration. You probably saw it in the news. It was incredibly sad and scary too. So I used a Once More with Love munchkin for that. We unpacked everything, and then we also opened up all our wedding gifts and all our cards that we hadn't gotten to yet. So we hadn't opened any of the cards yet because we were busy getting ready for our honeymoon. And then also we had gifts that we got at the wedding and gifts that came in like during the wedding weekend and while we were gone on our honeymoon. So we opened up all of those, which was a lot of fun. And then we ate some of our wedding cake. So our venue was super nice and like boxed up anything that we left on our plates that night, as well as all the extra wedding cake. So obviously we ate as many of the leftovers of the food as we could before we left for Hawaii, but we did end up tossing out some stuff because like I wasn't going to eat week-old fish, you know. But the wedding cake we saved. It did get kind of dry in the week that we were gone, but I was still eating it. I'm like, it's still cake. Apparently our bakery will do a anniversary cake that's complimentary, so I'm looking forward to that. And then we watched all of our wedding ceremony video because I think we got all the raw footage on like the Tuesday of this week. So we sat down and watched all of that, which was a lot of fun. So that couple is from Papershire. But yeah, that is our honeymoon week. Short and sweet, 6 days of vacationing right after we got married in a nice warm climate, which I didn't know I was going to miss so much until I lived through this winter. So yeah, that is everything. I hope you enjoyed hearing about it. Let me know how you are doing down below, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!